All right, what's good, YouTube? We're back again with another tutorial. As always, follow, like, comment, share, subscribe, show some love to the channel, so that way the algorithm begins to work in my favor, and these videos get pushed out to the right people, and the right people start seeing these videos. So yeah, as you can see by the title, today we are working on how to structure a beat, and also I'm going to go over the template that I've kind of created and been working on and been using to help work with workflow. So let's go ahead and hop into FL Studio and get started. All right, guys. So we are in FL Studio. We are in song mode, and we are on the arrangement screen, right? So I've got this beat already laid out. I've got it created, and as always, for you guys that stick around and like to watch the whole tutorial, I'll go over the full breakdown of the beat. As always, all the VSTs and all the sounds and everything. But right now, our main focus is going over beat structure, laying it out, the template, and workflow stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. So first off, when you're structuring these beats and you want to make sure that art, like, it's set up the right way, the best way that I can always tell you is with this template. It makes it a lot easier for me to do that because I don't have it eliminates the thinking for me. I just go based off of my what are these called, markers. I made markers up here. So typically when you're doing a rap intro, and it may vary and change a little bit if you're a rap producer, trap producer, R&B producer, you know, country's music producer, whatever you are, it may change a little bit for you. But typically with rap intros, trap type of intros, they're very short and they're usually like full-fledged, full blast. They drop all the instruments pretty quickly, and then that's about it. Then it goes into the hook, verse, and all that other stuff, right? So typically, what they like to do is make anywhere from an 8 to a 16 bar intro. So I like to do 8 bar intros. Sometimes I'll do 16. It all depends on the vibe of the beat, the sound, and the style I'm going for. But in this particular case, we did an 8 bar intro, right? So with this intro, I did something a little bit different. I took the first 2 bars out. The reason I like to do that is so that you can clearly hear my tag, and then when everything drops, you'll hear the Capsule Corp tag. So we'll go ahead and play the first 8 bars and let you hear what the intro sounds like. Your intro should be used as an artist, as a producer, for you to basically advertise yourself. Like nobody's going to immediately typically start rapping. I cannot get this thing to click the last few bars. Typically, most people are not going to start automatically rapping like as soon as the beat drops, just right into it, bars like that. Oh, you can slide these things. I just learned something new. I've been deleting and all of that. If you hold, what was I holding, control? I wonder if I hit control on this. Oh, okay. I just learned something new, guys. If you hit control and click on the marker, you can click on it, right? And then it'll just go from the first marker to the second marker. Let me see if that's true. Yeah, it goes from the first marker to the second marker. That's cool. I didn't know that. And then once you've got it highlighted, how did I get it to move, though? Once you got it highlighted, I think I just clicked on this. That'd be nice if you could grab it. How did I do that? Click on it and then hit shift, or maybe hit shift, then click on it. I don't know. I was able to just drag that just now, and I don't know how I did it. I'll try to figure that out. But let's get back into it. So we'll play the intro. I like to make my intros anywhere from 8 bars to 16. Just kind of depends on what style I'm going for and the vibe. But as of right now, we're doing an 8 bar intro. So this is what that sounds like. You'll be able to hear the tag, and then you'll also be able to hear my Capsule Corp tag.
It's a Milan beat. Oh.
So that's just good advertising. You automatically hear off the rip my tag. So people that do their tag like, okay, I'm gonna let the beat play a little bit, and then when the beat drops, I drop my tag in there, or I might drop my tag right here when the beat hits, or whatever the case is. That's cool. You can do that. It's fine and dandy. The only reason I stopped doing that was because I noticed sometimes people would rap over my tag just because of where I happen to place it. So I always put it in the beginning as like the first sound that you hear. Most of the time, my artist is just kind of talking their shit, kind of warming up, mumbling a little bit, kind of getting the vibes right for the first 2 bars, but first couple of bars. But the first 2 bars, I promise you, they're not going to be rapping and saying nothing. So that's why I like to put my tags in there like that. And then I like it to have a full effect when the beat drops and the 808 hits, to have my Capsule Corp tag in there, right? So that's the intro, 8 to 16 bars, right? Then you've got your hook. Your hook is typically anywhere from 8 to 16 bars as well. It all depends on what you're going for, your style, your vibe, and the type of music you're making. with trap beats and whatnot, they're typically about 8-bar loops for the hooks, and then the verses are usually 16 to 24. A good rule of thumb is whatever the length of bars that you make your verse, if you make your hook half that, that's usually about right. So if you're doing a 16-bar verse, your hook should probably be 8 bars, right? If you're doing a, I don't know, 32-bar verse, then your hook should probably be, a full 16. But it all depends on the style. Sometimes I make 16-bar hooks. Sometimes I make 8-bar hooks. It just all depends how the vibe and the sound of the beat sounds. For me personally, I think and I feel like that hits the best, the sweet spot is a 8-bar loop. Reason being is because it makes the intro not too long but not too short. It makes it to where the hook is not too long and not too short, because sometimes rappers don't even know how to rap for a full hook. And lots of times they actually might rap for only 8 bars in the hook, but the hook was actually 16, and they start their verse inside inside what is the hook. So rather to avoid that problem, I just go ahead and just make the hook a little bit shorter at 8 bars and then keep my verses at 16 like always. Because even when I was doing 16-bar verses, I was also doing 16-bar hooks and verses, and then I always did my 8-bar bridge, right? So personally, I think 8 bars is good for the hook and for the intro, because then you want to look at it as like this whole point up until getting into the verse is 16 bars, right? Which again, lots of times intros are 16 bars, or the hook could be 16 bars. So either which way, you're still counting 16 and you still plopping the verse around the same area, right? And also too, if you listen to it sound wise, like, once the verse starts, you're already 30 seconds into the song. Typically that's about right. Sometimes it's a little bit longer. If you do a 16-bar verse, it might be around like 48 seconds, I believe is typically what it is, or like 40 something seconds. I can't remember when the how long it is once the verse starts, but that's typically around about where it is. And it also depends on what platform you're putting your beats on. If you're putting your beats on YouTube, it may be better to have a 16-bar verse, because then you're hooking the listener in longer to wait for the beat drop to hit, which will keep your attention high. But when it comes to, if you want it to be for a rapper or an artist, they don't want that long intro. They don't want that. They want to immediately, oh, this beat's hard, let me go ahead and start snapping on it. But if you do too long of an intro, they may not even make it to the point of hearing the beat drop, because they're like, man, this thing taking too long. So I err on the shorter side. So we do 16-bar verses, right? And then we do 8-bar bridges. The reason I always like to add a bridge into my beat, me personally, I just think it gives it a different sound, a different style, and a different it sounds different. Because if you think about it, man, all the beats that you typically hear is just 808s blaring the whole entire time through, the instruments blaring the whole entire time, and just maybe a couple little beat drops here and there, and then the melody is just repetitive and just playing. Like, there's no space, there's no gap, there's no move, there's nothing to where the artist can go in there and be like, really show their creative sound. And I think that's what makes my beats stick out a little bit more than the average producer, just because I do these things where, like, even the little 1-bar beat drops, 2-bar stuff, cutting out instruments, most producers aren't doing that. They're just playing all the instruments, do one intro like this, and then have the loop going for pretty much the entire time, and take 1 or 2 sounds out. And there's nothing wrong with that, because there is no right or wrong way to make a beat. But me personally, I like to keep my beat sounding like it's a journey all the way through the entire process of listening to the beat. So once we do the bridge, I always drop back into the hook. Again, I don't, keep the hooks the same. I keep the hooks the same. That way, when the artist reloops their hook, they can go ahead and, put that in there properly with no issues, and won't have any problems there. Next, we're back into the verse, which typically I just copy the verses. But usually what I like to do is, whatever instrument that I came in with for the second part of the verse, I'll take that one out like I did over here, and then just swap it with a different one of my other sounds, so that the verses don't sound the exact same. And then that way the artist can pick and choose and be like, hey, I bought the beat, I'm gonna do the hook, and I'm gonna leave the first verse open because I like the way the second verse sounds. Or I'm gonna do the first verse because I like the way the first verse sounds, and then you do the second verse. Or could be I just want to go first, or I want to go second. It doesn't really matter. But I like to change it up so it doesn't sound the exact same as well. Same thing with the bridges. So this bridge obviously is different than that bridge. But what I like to do with my bridges, I like to empty them. So I either take everything out, or either I take a decent enough out to where it's noticeable. So I typically will take out the clap and the hi-hat, maybe one other sound, and sometimes I'll have all the sounds playing. That way the 808's kind of hitting, and it just makes the bridge sound a little bit different than in the second half of the beat than in the first. And then I always do an 8-bar intro. You can do 16-bar intros as well. You can do 16-bar bridges. You can do 16-bar intros. You can do 8-bar bridges. All you want to remember, basically, the key thing is to do everything in either 8 bars or 16 bars. Or, I mean, you can do it in 4 bars if you're going to count properly. Sometimes if you do 4 bars, you might mess around and not count the bars properly and do like a 12-bar verse, and that's gonna cut the artist off in the middle of their verse, and it's not gonna sound right. It's gonna sound like it's short. So yeah, that's really all I got for you guys. I think that's pretty. I mean, it's pretty easy and straightforward how to lay these out and how you want to do them. It's just a matter of kind of learning when you can hear, okay, the beat should change now, and that's typically where you do make a change. So as long as you follow this structure of intro, hook, verse, bridge, hook, verse, bridge, outro, it's very repetitive and it's easy. So once you have a template set up like this, like how I have it set up, you can, it's literally plug and play. I just clone all my sounds, and then I start deleting the stuff that I know that I need. And I know how I kind of generally like to set up beats. So that leads me into talking about the template. The template itself makes it a whole lot easier for me and quicker for me to make these beats. So usually when I make these YouTube videos, it takes me like an hour and a half to do it, because like when I'm doing cook-up videos. And then after the fact, I have to do this breakdown, make a breakdown video like this. So the whole process for one beat could easily be like 2 hours or well over 2 hours in the editing process and all that stuff. But what the template has done has cut that time almost in half really for me. So like I'll finish the whole beat and everything, and I'll be done within an hour, just because all I'm doing is literally just putting the melodies together, doing slight mixing and EQing, and then just laying it out and structuring it. So I get to focus all my creative time and thought process on just making a good sounding beat, good melodies, things of that nature, and not wasting my time. Well, let me go put this instrument. Let me drag this over here. Let me do that, because if you go back over to my template, let's see here. On the template itself, these are the sounds that are already on there. Everything that you'll see, these sounds will be on there every single time. The breath, the 2 snares, the hi-hat, and the clap. Because I always tend to use these sounds. I may not use it exactly like this or however I have it set up, but I just have it set there generically, so I can basically just be like, okay, let me add 2 melodies in there. Okay, those melodies sound good. Well, what would it sound like if I throw clap, hi-hat, and all that stuff? Let me just click these on, boom, and then, okay, let's grab an 808, throw it in there. All right, that sounds decent enough. That sounds good. All right, so then I'll mute all this stuff and go back to building the melody, and then I just kind of go in and turn those sounds on and off and listen to it and start tweaking it. And then once I get to the part of the instruments, that's where I just go in and I'm literally like adding rolls for the hi-hats, taking some of the hi-hats out, removing some snares or moving them in different places, and then I'll fill in my 808 pattern. I don't have this all automatically already in there, and that's it. Like it's made my workflow so much easier just having that set up. And then I also have my my melodies obviously routed over into the router, and have my mixing, EQ, all my effects that I like to add on to there, but I don't have them all turned on unless I actually need them, that kind of deal. So then I've got on my master auto key, so I already know that my BPM is 140, and then I can just hit play. Watch. Oops. So I have auto key on the master. Let's go back over here. Hang on. So I have auto key on the master. Oh, let me fix that too. So as you can see, I've got auto key on the master. What this allows me to do is I can just play the beat. Right, so I just play the beat and it tells auto key tells me what it is, so I don't have to go through the drag and drop process of putting it in like tune bat or something like that. And then I can export the beat and already know, hey, it's in 140 BPM, it's F major. Sometimes it may actually be D minor. Sometimes you'll have to click between those two. So it's basically saying, hey, this is pretty much what it sounds like. If you do have some weird issues with your auto tune, swap it out and try D minor and see if that works. It's pretty much what that's telling me. But that's it. That the template makes things faster, makes things easier. I throw my tags already in there as well. I've got this the automation already in there, and that's it, guys. So just keeping that process. Always remember your intro, hook, verse, bridge, hook, verse, bridge, outro, right? And once you keep that concept, there may be times you want to go in, change some things, tweak some things. That's fine, and you can do that. But if you just be like, hey, we're making beats for artists to rap on. We're not making beats to impress other producers. And you just make your melodies, you make your instruments, you lay it out, and you put it out there. I promise you, a rapper's going to like it way more than what the producer would, because you're not trying to impress producers when we're making beats. We're trying to get artists to rap on them. If you go back and listen to all these major songs and just listen to the beat, you'll see that they're pretty simple and repetitive. They just, they're really good, simple but repetitive beats. Because artists, the artist's voice is their instrument, and the average listener is going to pay more attention to the artist's voice than they are the beat itself. The beat, as long as the beat is good enough for the artist to get on and the artist knows what they're doing on it, that beat really don't matter a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. But it's a give and take. If I have those same lyrics but remove the beats, it's not going to hit the same. If I have that same beat but remove the lyrics, it's not going to hit the same. I do think personally a beat can stand alone a lot stronger than somebody's acapella voice. So I think, to a degree, the producer is providing more within that exchange as far as making sure that sound sounds good. Because if you listen to a Future song with no beat, it's not hard. Like it's just gonna be like, oh, it's just some dude rapping about getting high all the time and bitches and designer shit. But then when you add the beat to it, it's hard. You know what I mean? So that's just one way to kind of think about it. So for you guys that stick around for the entirety of the beat, it's your time to shine, guys. We're going to break this beat down. But first, what we are going to do is, let's go back over here. And again, I always use my template. So I want to explain the purpose of the template in this regard here. So I always make my melodies into one pattern. This is how I like to make beats, just like this. So we're going to switch it into pattern mode. As you can hear, everything's playing, right? And actually I can turn off that. We don't need that. So the way that I like to do this template is pretty much I make everything all into one pattern. Once I make that pattern, I go over here, right click it, clone it. And on the cloned version, I split it up. And then I use that cloned version to lay the beat out. The reason I always like to keep a pattern like this is simply just because if I want to go in here and be like, okay, well, let me see what it sounds like if I change this melody or add this instrument or do that and this. Okay, cool, that sounds good. And then I can go and make the decision of if I want to add it into here. But I personally like to do that, and it makes it easier for me to record these videos as well because I'll have this already set up, and then I just got to open the project file and then open it and show you guys this stuff. So it makes it just a little bit easier. So there's a couple of different reasons as to why I do it. I do the cloning and the splitting like that. So that helps me out. And then you got your routing, and then you are obviously on the routing tracks, you've got it all set up. So let's go ahead and break this thing down. We are going to start off with the first melody, and we're going to switch it to song mode and let it play. And I'm just going to go through each one of the sounds and then just let you guys kind of see what it all is. So since you've made it this far, I appreciate you guys. Follow, like, comment, share, subscribe for you guys that don't stick around for the whole video. I appreciate the love and support that you guys do. And for you guys that stick around, we're going to hop into it and go ahead and get started. And let's take a listen. it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and this breakdown of this beat. I hope you guys learned something, or took something with you from this, and just added it to your repertoire, and you go ahead and do something else with it. You know what I mean? Like all this channel is built to do is to help other producers learn and grow. I want this channel to be the channel that people go to that don't know what they're doing. They're intermediate, they're beginners, or they're advanced, and they can all those people can still learn something. I want to make my channel the channel that I wish that I could find when I was younger and had first started making beats and didn't know anything. Like everything that I'm showing you guys is like well over 10 years of experience, trial and error, mistakes, being in good situations, bad situations, learning from people's mistakes, all that stuff. So I'm trying to make this as easy as possible for you guys. And if you guys stick around with the channel and stay following, like, you're going to learn stuff from here, and I'm going to show you things that are applicable and things that are going to actually move the needle. I'm not one of those YouTube producers or producers in general that's just out here to try to like be like a snake oil salesman, sell you some bullshit, or show you half the sauce and then hide like, I'm not that guy. I'm trying to teach you guys how to actually do this, enjoy making beats and having fun and being applicable with this. Like I want you guys to be able to take this and start your own, literally your own business with making beats, engineering, with music. Like that's the ultimate end goal, is to be able to show you guys the process of everything that I've done. Music has done a lot for me. It's put food on my table. It bought me a house. It's bought me numerous cars and other bullshit. I'm also a car guy, so I burn a lot of money on cars and car parts. If you guys didn't know, it's furnished this house. It's put this $4,000 computer in my room. It's made a studio setup. Music has even got me into a studio. Like I had my own studio for years until I made a career change. I'm back recording and back in a studio setting, and want to eventually get back to having my own studio. Like music has done a lot for me. Music has probably literally changed and saved my life beyond what I even know. If I did not have making beats, YouTube, making music, and recording, I honestly don't know what I'd be doing, what type of habits and hobbies I'd be into. I couldn't tell you. I have no idea, because all I think about is art, music, gym, cars, and money. And girls. That's it, man. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial. I appreciate you guys that stick around for the long haul. Comment, share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow me on my social media, Milan Makes Beats. If you got it, you find me. If I don't, you won't. And that's really it, guys. We'll be back next week with another tutorial or another cook up or whatever the case is. But I hope you guys enjoyed this extra little bit of sauce. But yeah, we'll be back next week. Peace.